A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So reads the Second Amendment to the Constitution. I'm Lost in Place, and I'm bringing to you what I consider to be a very serious commentary. I'm going to be talking about the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and what it means, the right to bear arms. First, let's talk about the gameplay. This is part of my series, The Road to 100 plus kills in a single game. Still haven't gotten it yet, but I've been getting pretty close. The gameplay you're looking at is a demolition on Hijacked. I won 82 and 22. Not too shabby, but what's impressive the most about this is I was running solo. I had no one on my team helping me at all, and these dudes were beyond uncooperative. I was telling them to do stuff to extend the rounds. They weren't listening. They were just doing their own damn thing. So I'm kind of impressed that I got as high as I did, considering the game was actually a lot shorter than it could have been. But let's get straight to the topic. And I'm not really talking about gun control, so to speak, but I'm talking about the origins of the Second Amendment and the meanings of it. I'm going to try to be as neutral as possible, and I'll leave it to you guys to comment below what you think it means, alright? So, now at the time these words were written, the Second Amendment, terms like well-regulated militia and to keep and bear arms, they were reasonably clear back then. But today, their implications are really contested. In the minds of Revolutionary-era Americans, a standing army was the absolute worst thing possible. A standing army is basically when an army occupies your country. Before and during the Revolutionary War, the British Army oppressed the nation's inhabitants. They did a lot of stuff that, they basically crossed a lot of lines, pissed a lot of people off. And the new rules that they were creating when this Constitution was created, it basically had to prevent this from ever happening again. Colonists had to protect themselves, and to do this they gathered as citizen soldiers in groups called militias. This day, in our time, militias, I guess, are what would be referred to as the Coast Guard, but they have a whole different function now as what they did then, or what a militia was. So there's three ways of interpreting the Constitution, and I'm going to start with the first one, original intent. The people who wrote it, what did they intend from it? What were their intents? So, and this is twofold, I'm speaking from two different viewpoints. Now, those who think the amendment does protect an individual's right to bear arms, they note that other amendments clearly guarantee individual rights, such as free speech or trial by jury. This right is no different, and it certainly applies to the individuals, is their argument. That it's not specified, it's an individual right, it is implied. So they're saying that the Second Amendment is implied that it's for individuals. Now, those who feel the amendment does not protect an individual right, they say the members of Congress who debated and passed the measure, they talked only about the danger of standing armies and the need to strengthen militias. Those are issues at the Constitutional Convention, and it's all in written record. Everything that I'm quoting from you is in written record. Now, the discussion, there was never a discussion about an individual's right to bear arms. So that couldn't have been the purpose for this amendment. Again, these are not my standpoints, just pointing them out from two different aspects. Alright? Now, the second way to interpret the Constitution is by original meaning. How was the language within the amendment understood at the time? What did the people think they were signing on to? Now, supporters of the individual interpretation point to various documents. There is a minority report from the Pennsylvania Ratification Convention. That's where they ratified the Constitution. And this document tried to guarantee the individual's right to bear arms for the defense of themselves and their own state, or for the purpose of killing game. They also cite passages like that and showing that people at the time, they valued their right to keep and use arms in capacities that extend beyond militia participation, such as protecting their own homes. But the other group, those supporting the collective interpretation, they say we have to examine the language closely. For example, a call to arms or bear arms are military references. They make no sense when applied to an individual. A person does not bear arms against a rabbit, or even against a criminal. So as you see, there's many different ways that this can be spun from both perspectives. Now on to the third method of interpreting the Constitution, and that is by considering it a living Constitution. And we should really And what this is getting across is that we should try to embrace the values expressed in the Second Amendment and then apply them to current time and the current reality. This seems a really impossible task because arms today, you've got rapid-fire assault rifles, not just single-shot muskets with powder and a ramming rod that they had back then, and there is no militia anymore. So, that said, a living constitution approach, it can kind of bridge the divide between the two. So whether or not the Second Amendment addressed the issue of private ownership, most citizens would not argue the right to own a gun. But all states had gun laws, even back then, and they controlled the use of guns. They even had fire wardens that regulated gunpowder for fear of explosion, and private rights were always balanced by public safety. So with that being said, I guess I am going to get into my personal beliefs about gun control and what my thoughts are on the matter. Do I believe in gun control? Absolutely. Do I think the citizens of America have the right to have their own guns? Absolutely. Now, I personally have never fired a gun. I do not own a gun, but I think everyone in the country deserves the right to have a gun if they so choose. Should there be regulations on what you can have and how you get them? 100%. Now, a lot of people will argue, well, that's not going to change the violent crime rate. I think that's regardless to the fact. There are regulations on when you can get a driver's license, when you can buy alcohol, stuff like that. I think a gun is just as serious, if not more serious, than those that I just mentioned. So yes, there should be laws in place. First and foremost, a background check should be required for everyone who is purchasing a gun. I don't think that's a big deal. Background checks, yes. Also, when I'm talking about guns, I'm referring to handguns, rifles, and shotguns. I'm not talking about army assault rifles. I do not think anyone in their right mind should be able to possess those. Why would you even need that? The purpose of a gun is for self-protection or for hunting. You don't need an assault rifle for hunting. You get yourself a rifle or a shotgun, and handguns can protect your home. A lot of people are probably going to disagree with what I'm saying right now, but I personally believe that's the way it should be. I don't think you really require automatic rifles for home protection. Alright, so that's my belief, that's my opinion, and like it or not, that's the way I feel. But hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, whether you like it or not. I hope you do comment below. And let me know what your thoughts are on gun control and the rights to bear arms in the United States. Sorry if this commentary is directed just towards U.S. people. I am an American, so that's my experiences are going to go towards American people. But I'm sure if you're from another country, you can probably appreciate this commentary anyway. So that's all I got for you guys. I am Lost in Place. Hope you enjoyed this commentary, and I am out of here.